Welcome to M365 Professional. Hi, and I work at M365 Pro's IT department. I know talking it is not always the most exciting, but believe me when I say that the last several months have been crazy. Every department at the company is looking to equip their employees with a copilot, and it is my job to configure and build these copilots. I spend most of my day in Copilot Studio, which you see here on the screen, where I can create custom copilots from scratch and embed them in apps that we use here at Northwind. In Copilot Studio, I can also extend Microsoft Copilot, which you just saw in action when you talk to 4 of my peers. You can see I've been quite popular acting on requests from different departments. In the next 7 minutes, I'll walk you through how I enabled the 2 latest requests that I received, the first from the HR department and then the second from the sales organization. Let's dive into the first one. Now that everyone worked so hard to launch the Zenith V2 tint, the HR department wanted to make it as easy as possible for employees to both plan their vacation and also log those days in our internal PTO system. At Northwind, we already have an internal HR site for employees, and embedding a copilot inside the site allowed us to easily bring it to the year 2024. The first thing we wanted to do is to get this copilot conversational in Northwind's vacation policy. Now an employee can come here and ask a question like how far in advance should vacation requests be submitted. The answer Copilot provides is indeed grounded and factual, and the employee can also navigate to the citation here, which will point at Northwind's extremely lengthy vacation policy. But again, all the employee had to do is ask Copilot. We also wanted Copilot to be a way for employees to easily log their vacation days. Employees can now come to our HR Copilot and ask to create a vacation recourse. I see that Copilot is asking me for a couple of inputs like the start date of the vacation, also the end date of the vacation. Looks right. So finally I will confirm. And Copilot lets me know that these days have been logged in Northwind's PTO system. Let's now go to Copilot Studio to see how we built this custom Copilot from scratch. So here I created a new custom Copilot and I named it as HR Copilot. The first functionality that I showed was the ability for this Copilot to be conversational in Northwind's vacation policy. All we did to enable that is navigated to the generative AI page and uploaded the same vacation policy document that I showed earlier. The next functionality I showed was the ability for this Copilot to be a place where employees can log their vacation days. For that we turned to plugins, which grant Copilot the ability to take actions, not only search over data. When I create a plugin, I could use one of the thousands of pre-built connectors, or I could use a custom connector that wraps an enterprise API. Here I created a plugin with a custom connector that enables submission of vacation days. I configured this plugin to require a couple of inputs from the user, for example, the start date of the vacation and also the end date of the vacation. Once Copilot has this information, it'll log the vacation days in Northwind's PTO system. Now creating a Copilot from scratch also allows me as a maker if I would like to have tight control over how this Copilot behaves. In this case, to comply with company policy, the HR department asked that we implement a user confirmation step before submitting their vacation days. To enable the user interaction that we saw earlier on the HR site, generative AI is used in a few places. First, it's used to identify that the employee's request should be routed to the Create Vacation Request plugin. Next, we also use generative AI to formulate questions to ask the user for those required inputs. In this case, the vacation start date and end date. And finally, also to formulate Copilot's responses. Now, to me as a maker, this is extremely exciting because we've enabled an end-to-end experience, and I had to author 0 conversational dialogue. With this type of Copilot, Our customers are already seeing substantial reduction in HR support costs, and some like PayPal have gone live in a short 8 weeks. I'm super excited for Northwind to see the same benefits soon. Now let's look at the second request that I received from the sales organization. Now that we launched the Zenith V2 tint, sellers would like to closely track its sales and see also how these figures compare to the sales of the previous model that we had released. The sales team tells me that launching a product, it's like a wedding. It's easy, and the hard part is the marriage. You're actually driving sales and adoption of the product. So having these sales figures easily available to sales reps was key. To enable this ask, I extended Microsoft Copilot so it can now fetch information from an internal system that houses our sales data. Let's give it a go. So as a seller, I can now come and ask a question like, what are my quarterly sales of Zenith products? Behind the scenes, Copilot is retrieving this information from our internal system that houses sales data. And here are my sales numbers. Let's go again back to Copilot Studio to see how I extended Microsoft Copilot with this capability. In Copilot Studio, I can build conversational plugins to extend Microsoft Copilot. The plugin I created for this capability has 3 core components. The first is a plugin description that ensures that Microsoft Copilot understands the purpose of this plugin and knows when to invoke it for a user. The second component is a custom connector that fetches information from an internal system that captures Northwind sales data. And finally, I configured a message that will use information returned from the API to provide the relevant response to the seller. After I configured this plugin, I saved it, published it to Microsoft Copilot, and that's it. That's how simple it is to extend Microsoft Copilot, and this is a functionality that is included in the Copilot for Microsoft 365 license. As we just saw, with Copilot Studio, you can tailor or create net new copilots to allow everyone in your organization, even your IT department, to thrive. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. M365 Professional. Check out more content here.